hello, and welcome back to the Premier League and Game Week 32. Now, we have got Game Week 32. We have already lost one team. And I'm not going to tell you it is until the game. But who will join them? Will Liverpool extend? Find all that out now.
Boys, if you want a discount on your energy, go and get my discount in the description. New Dan 10 at checkout. Peace.
Yes, boys, welcome back to the Premier League. And our first game in the Premier League, game week number 32, is Man City versus Crystal Palace. Now, Man City had a 0-0 draw against their Manchester neighbours in game week 31, and Palace played against Brighton, and they managed to get a sort of result against Brighton, which nobody expected. But this is Man City now, who at the moment are in sixth place at the moment, even not in any European at all at the moment, but it depends on what Arsenal do in the Champions League, which we'll get onto that in Monday's video. But City Palace 2-0 to Manchester City in this game. No guest this week because everyone's busy. Surprise, surprise. And we now move to Brighton versus Leicester City. Now, Leicester City lost in game week 31 to Newcastle in the first half, and Leicester City are probably the next team to head down. But Brighton, on the other hand, played against Palace and got a defeat. But I do think Brighton will win this game 3-0 to Brighton. We now move to Nottingham Forest versus Everton. Now, Forest were involved in that game against Aston Villa, which they duly lost. Aston Villa beating Forest, but that helps Villa in their top hopes, but it doesn't really help out Forest at all. But against an Everton team who are looking very good, got a point at Arsenal on the weekend, and I'm going to say Nottingham Forest 2, Everton 1. We now move to Southampton versus Everton. It has been some week for Southampton. Relegation down to the Championship, so they're the first team to head down to the Championship. And also, 48 hours after relegation, they got rid of Ivan Juric again. So they're now on to their third manager in charge of that team, and it's Simon Weck with Adam Lallana taking charge of that team to the end of the season. Only 7 games left. That is the earliest any team has been relegated from the Premiership. Oh dear, Southampton fans. And they play Aston Villa, who have just come off the back of a win against Brentford, but a defeat against PSG. But they were fired up. Honestly, 4-0 to Aston Villa. So fans, your season is going to get from bad to worse, but it really has gone from bad to worse, for you. We now move to Arsenal versus Brentford. Now, Arsenal, if you didn't already know, drew 1-1 against Everton and beat Real Madrid at home thanks to 2 goals from Declan Rice. And Brentford played against Chelsea and they got a 0-0 draw, a boring score draw. I'm going to go Arsenal 2, Brentford 1. And we now move on to games happening on Sunday. Starting off with Chelsea v Ipswich. Now Ipswich have had a bit of a blow to their top with a defeat to Wolves, which was a game they really could have done that we were winning. But I mean, Ipswich, if you want to stay up, you need to beat teams. But Chelsea, on the other hand, played against a 0-0 against Brentford. But do I throw a curveball and go Ipswich win? I don't think it will be. I think it'll be a 2-0 Chelsea victory in this game. And we now go to Liverpool versus West Ham. And we're starting off with the hosts, who had a surprise defeat at Craven Cottage to Fulham. Yes, you're hearing that correctly. I'm not lying. Fulham beating the champions-elect Liverpool. I mean, with Arsenal dropping points, you would have said, easy win. With Arsenal only having 1 point, and Liverpool thinking, oh, hello. Fulham said, no, you're not having this at all. And West Ham got a late equaliser goal. A Bournemouth, one of the teams got a late equaliser, but West Ham, Liverpool, I'm going to go Liverpool want to repay their fans back for that miserable game against Fulham. 3-0 to Liverpool. We now move to Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Tottenham Hotspur. Now, Tottenham, as we know, are a very good team when it comes to football. I mean, they're inconsistent at the moment, Spurs. Very inconsistent at the moment. They're playing... I mean, they beat Southampton, who relegated them, who Spurs have relegated the last 3 Premier League teams, which is crazy. Have Spurs got a better against any team in the bottom of the table? But Wolves beat Ipswich. I'm going to go Wolves 1, Spurs 1. I think Spurs will not have enough to deal with Southampton, with Wolves. I mean, I'll move to the last game on the Sunday, which is Newcastle United versus Manchester United. Now, like I said in the first game, the Manchester club drew out a 0-0 boring score draw in the Manchester derby, which was very disappointing if you're us. But I mean, look on the bright side. We played well against City, but I mean, that's Manchester City, what you expect. But Newcastle, on the other hand, just beat Leicester 3-0. What can they do to us? I do not feel confident at all. I'm going to say Newcastle 2, Man United 1. We now move to the last game, and it's on Monday night. It is Bournemouth versus Fulham, who have come with the back of a beating. Both these teams got points last time out. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw in this game, and that will bring game week 32 to an end. Will we lose Leicester this weekend? Will Liverpool pretty much be almost crowned champions? What will happen in that top 4 battle? Teams keep swapping and changing and swapping. Will Ipswich close to Wolves? Find all that out and a lot more next week. But until then, I will see you on Monday for leg number 2 of a very interesting Champions League quarter final. Goodbye.